Having witnessed the thermonuclear tyranny of our parent star, we now venture into the absolute front lines of its cosmic battlefield. Merely 36 million miles away from the roaring furnace of the sun drifts a scarred, battered, and lonely ghost of a planet. We call it Mercury. For billions of years, this tiny titan has existed as a cosmic hermit, trapped in the immediate gravitational chokehold of a monster. It is a world of violent contradictions, a place where the concepts of day and night cease to be gentle transitions and instead become weaponized forces of nature. To look upon Mercury is to look upon the raw, unshielded wounds of the early solar system. It is the smallest planet in our celestial family, a deceptive ball of iron and rock that defies the very laws of planetary formation and actively challenges our understanding of how worlds are born, live, and die. Human imagination often equates closeness to the sun with an eternal, uniform inferno. But Mercury is far more sinister. Because it lacks a substantial atmosphere to trap and distribute heat, it experiences the most violent temperature swings in the known solar system, transforming it into a two-faced purgatory. During the agonizingly long solar day, the surface is mercilessly bombarded by a torrent of solar radiation that is 7 times more intense than what reaches Earth. Temperatures skyrocket to a devastating 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, zinc, and tin into shimmering pools. Yet, the moment the sun sets, the nightmare reverses. With no atmospheric blanket to hold the heat, the thermal energy instantly bleeds out into the freezing void of space. In a matter of cosmic moments, the temperature plummets to a staggering -180 degrees Celsius. Mercury is a world that simultaneously burns and freezes, a place where a traveler would be instantly incinerated on one side and shattered like brittle glass on the other. Beneath this dual landscape of fire and ice lies a profound planetary mystery that has baffled astrophysicists for generations. Mercury is not a normal rock. It is a giant iron cannonball masquerading as a planet. When we look at Earth or Mars, the dense metallic core is wrapped in a thick, protective blanket of mantle and crust. But Mercury is structurally mutated. Its iron core is absolutely colossal, stretching across 85% of the planet's radius. It is as if the planet's outer rocky shell was violently stripped away, leaving behind a naked, dense metallic heart. How did this anomaly happen? Scientists hypothesize a terrifying origin story. Billions of years ago, a massive protoplanet, a stray titan of the early solar system, slammed directly into a young Mercury. The apocalyptic collision was so violent that it literally blasted Mercury's original rocky mantle into the outer void, leaving behind a dense, heavy sphere of iron to slowly re-solidify in the glaring shadow of the sun. As this colossal iron core slowly cooled over eons, it triggered a global geological crisis. Metal shrinks as it cools, and because Mercury's core is so massive, the entire planet began to physically contract. Mercury literally shrank. As the interior collapsed inward, the solid rocky crust above it had nowhere to go, causing the entire surface to buckle, fracture, and wrinkle like the skin of a drying fruit. Massive cliffs, known as thrust faults or scarps, erupted across the planet, tearing through ancient craters and stretching for hundreds of miles, some rising over 2 miles high into the vacuum. Yet, despite this cooling and shrinking, the planet's core remains partially liquid. This molten iron heart sloshes dynamically as the planet rotates, generating a surprising global magnetic field. Though it is only 1% as strong as Earth's shield, this magnetic bubble creates a miniature magnetosphere, a fragile shield that is constantly battered, torn, and compressed by the unrelenting onslaught of the solar wind. It is within this battered magnetosphere that Mercury hides its most shocking, counterintuitive secret. One would assume that a world so close to the thermonuclear tyrant would be entirely devoid of water. But nature loves irony. At Mercury's north and south poles, the planet's axis of rotation is perfectly upright, meaning the floors of certain deep impact craters never, ever see a single ray of sunlight. These are the regions of perpetual shadow, places that have remained in absolute pitch-black darkness for billions of years, maintaining a permanent temperature of -180 degrees Celsius. When NASA's Messenger spacecraft fired radar beams into these eternal abysses, it received a brilliant, highly reflective signal. Hidden inside the ultimate furnace of the solar system are vast, frozen sheets of pure water ice. Delivered by ancient comet impacts, this ice survived because it is insulated by deep space darkness, protected by the very crater walls that shield it from the fiery gaze of the nearby sun. To extract these secrets from the clutches of the solar tyrant required a level of engineering that pushed human ingenuity to its absolute limits. Sending a spacecraft to Mercury is not a matter of speed, it is an agonizing battle against gravity. A spacecraft traveling toward the inner solar system is constantly accelerated by the immense gravitational pull of the sun. To avoid pulling a kamikaze plunge into the solar furnace, a probe must constantly brake. NASA's Messenger spacecraft had to perform a complex cosmic dance, utilizing 6 separate planetary gravity assists over 6 years just to slow down enough to slip into Mercury's orbit. Protected by a specialized ceramic cloth sunshade, it mapped the world in unprecedented detail before intentionally crashing into the surface in 2015. Today, a new robotic pioneer, the joint European and Japanese BepiColombo mission, is braving the extreme thermal environment, utilizing a revolutionary dual orbiter design to map the planet's magnetic field and composition, proving that humanity will never cease to extend its eyes into the most hostile corners of the dark. Ultimately, the story of Mercury is inextricably linked to the tragic, unalterable fate of its oppressor. It is a planet living on borrowed time. In 5 billion years, when the sun expends its hydrogen fuel and swells into a catastrophic red giant star, its outermost fiery layers will expand exponentially into the solar system. Mercury, standing on the absolute front lines, will be the very first world to fall. It will not have the time to witness the boiling of Earth's oceans or the stripping of Mars' atmosphere. In a matter of cosmic moments, the expanding stellar plasma will completely swallow Mercury's orbit, vaporizing its thin, rocky crust, melting its giant iron heart, and absorbing its entire physical legacy into the dying star. It is a world born in fire, sculpted by impact chaos, and destined to be entirely consumed by the very star that dictated its existence. Mercury stands as a monument to planetary resilience, a dense iron heart that refused to be obliterated by the chaotic birth of our solar system. It teaches us that even in the most extreme, unyielding environments, secrets like hidden ice can endure in the dark. Thank you for exploring the Solar System Chronicles with Science Odyssey. If you are ready to venture deeper into the void, subscribe and join us for the next chapter, where we visit a world buried beneath a suffocating blanket of acid clouds, a runaway greenhouse nightmare that represents the true twin and dark future of our own planet, the crushing hell of Venus. Thanks for watching.